my goodness. All right, so it's Sunday morning coffee. I actually shot a segment in the shop this morning early. I wound up having to go into work yesterday. Those of you that follow me up on the old Facebook's post, apparently I did have time enough to do it twice. All right, so this leads here kind of into my week was a complete fucking malfunction at best. Okay, failure like nothing you ever saw. Wow. Okay, you've probably seen it, but nonetheless. Failure. Alright, so I had a failed week. We got some projects in and out of the shop. We'll get into what the failure was specifically and whose head I'm hanging that on. Shop slowed back down. Just a smidge. I think it'll, okay, sure. Failure. Shop slowed down. Some projects in and out. Not a lot, but we did, get some big moves made this week. The team is doing what a green team does. I've interviewed 2 other people that are interested in some work here and there, hither and thither. Why I worked Saturday night and why I'm going to go into work for probably 2 hours today. And kind of back to the original purpose of Sunday morning coffee. I do Sunday morning coffee because I can't afford a therapist. The type of therapy I need is like $200 an hour. This is much cheaper. Okay, my attitude's been for shit this week, and I had a serious adjustment last night. I had to go in. I had to work. I had to go back to work. I'm sitting in the shop yesterday morning. I ran in there to deliver a project. It was in the booth. All I do is unwrap it, button it up, and send it out. Customer happy. Then we move on. I shuffled in another project that I had to deal with, and not in good tidings, really. Jerry, my buddy Jerry, my good friend Jerry, he's my Jiminy Cricket to my Pinocchio. He's always there with good sound reason, and sometimes it's not the reason I want to hear, but he comes off with a good sound reason. I mean, the voice of reason. Having the voice of reason, having somebody on the outside looking in is important. I got several people I actually, for lack of a better word, consult with. Some of you folks shoot me some great notions, ideas, and such. Mr. Figaro comes with some solid sound advice. I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times. Someone's giving you advice, take a step back and look at what they're trying to sell you. If there's nothing to sell, it means they're taking their time out of their day, desperately trying to get some point across to you. You should probably at least take the time to set your ego aside, set what you know is best for you aside, and listen to what the fuck they have to say. Just saying. I get so focused. I'm either focused on a point with this in my head that this is how it's got to be, or I get lost in a big fucking scheme. I gotta keep myself balanced. You get lost in the big scheme, all the parts become random and chaotic. If you focus on the one thing, you can't see past that to what's next or what's beyond it or what could be, rather than what you've got set in your fucking head. I got my crew, part-timer and full-timer, they're green. Okay, I did something I said I'd never fucking do again, but they've got heart. They've got passion. So long as they show up, I can use this. I can utilize this. And that's where we're at now. My full-timer, Daryl, if he gets personal shit going on, he drags it into the shop and it becomes a mess. I'm going to have to hang a big clock on the wall so they're more oriented with not watching the clock, but they can see how long something's taking them. Because some things are taking my guys too fucking long. Intolerable. Gotta move faster. But I can't have them in there. I don't want guys in there just fever pitch all the time. I want guys that'll work at a pace and just coast. Because you generally, when you're coasting and you're just going through the numbers, making it happen, you generally have a higher tendency to do a better quality work, be happier with the job you've done. If everything's an emergency, you get tired of everything being an emergency. I think the best accurate portrayal for something like that was the show Boyd's American Hot Rod. Everything became an emergency. And it burnt guys up, burnt guys out. Guys that would willfully work 60 hours a week just to work 60 hours a week on hot rods and got burnt out. So you can't live in a perpetual state of emergency. It poisons the atmosphere. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, no matter who did what or who didn't do what, as the owner, it's your problem. That's where I come into. I failed my crew. I failed to keep them time-oriented, task-oriented, and moving along appropriately. I disappeared in the booth. I got the Monte Carlo shot in color. I had a little dry spray on the roof. She's getting a flat sanded anyhow. Not 100% satisfied, but it looks very good. But I disappear in the booth and all hell breaks loose on the floor. We didn't push fuck all out this week. The money we got in, I did a polish job on a 47 Ford Friday. I delivered a car yesterday that was supposed to be gone beginning of the week. I'm going to deliver a car today that was supposed to be gone Wednesday. I've been working a lot of hours. I'm tired. I'm not focused, so I can't even stand back and see and point out what went wrong. All I know is my crew just fell on their face this week. So getting my full-timer, getting Daryl focused on what's going on. He's very clingy. He's like a 3-year-old in a lot of his mentality. Very clingy. He wants to meet and greet and talk and chat, and he's got an attitude sometimes that comes out. Like a 3-year-old that you told him no, he can't have any Cheerios. You get that attitude. But he's worth working with. So I've come up with a new plan. If he's got to leave on personal in the middle of the day, he's just gone. Because he comes back and he's either lost in somewhere else mentally, or he's trying to hurry, rush, and make up time he lost. So I think if he has to leave in the middle of the day, he's just gone for the day. Not to punish him, but I don't feel I need to be punished by his scattered brain when he comes back from personal affairs in the middle of the day. He's loyal as the day is long, so there you go. Shop slowed down. That's a little disconcerting. It has slowed down. They need to bring in a couple jobs. I got some stuff, percolating. But I need to bring in some cash flow jobs. We've got the money jobs in. We need the cash flow jobs because the money jobs are weeks away, if not months, from payout. So we got to keep the cash flow jobs moving. I'm learning to balance that. Daryl wanted to argue with me that we should only work on one project at a time till it's completed and so forth and so on. With the mess I've created in the shop with some old projects behind and so forth, that this isn't feasible. It's not even reasonable to ponder. Let alone if we're starting fresh and clean and everything was caught up, it's not feasible. You got to have projects staggered, so you got cash flow. Profitability is secondary. My guys, I found if I can hit at least the 80th percentile, something takes 80 hours and if something is billable 80 hours and I've got 100 hours on it, as long as it's not my hours, I got to make hour for hour. I have to make hour for hour up. And then some. I've got to be beyond hour for hour if I can all intercede and make it happen. My guys, as long as, like I said, if it's billable 80 hours and they've got 100 hours on it, I'm okay. If they've got 160 hours on it, we're fucked. And that's an impression that I'm trying to push onto them to realize. These guys are old enthusiasts. They've been doing this shit in garages and backyards since I was a young lad. Or before. So there's that. I pulled up a notebook today, an old notebook today, to write down some notes for today and what I need to do. And it's interesting because these are a couple years old and I'm still fighting some of the same battles. One of my notes was just shop equipment that I needed. Stud welder's still on the list. I murdered my stud welder some months ago. That allows me some perspective. Going back through old footage, going back through old notes. I don't have a tendency to go back through footage. I don't really care to watch myself on video. But going through old notes, put some things in perspective and makes me realize where I fail. You can push it off on someone else, but if that problem keeps coming up again and again and again, you really need to step back and look at yourself. I got a kid brother, and this kid goes through jobs like I go through underwear, at least one a week, right? Anyhow, this kid, he's constantly going through these jobs. And it's always someone else's fault. The manager's on my ass, or this guy or that guy, why he quit or gets fired. That's the classic example of you need to stand back and examine yourself. You're not going to go out there, you're not going to change the world. I'm old enough to figure out, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I'm going to change the fucking world. As you grow older, you get a little wiser. The pains of your past transgressions are very vigilant in reminding you of your past transgressions. I hurt all the time. From a hard life lived as far as physical labor. I never really partied. I never, drank too much. That's about it. So that helps me. That was neat. That was 20 minutes ago in the house. I was neat seeing some old notes, and I'm trying to get well rested and sane again, get enough coffee in me again, and reapproach this, because I don't think the guys need punished so much. I've just got to be their leader. I've got to be not so much drill sergeant, but post boot camp fucking lieutenant level leader. It's got to be on point, succinct, take care of shit right then when they fuck up, and make the punishment a step above the fucking transgression. That's what I gotta do. That's what I gotta do to whip these guys into a shape that makes them usable, makes them viable. I'm working on the shop being system dependent, so I can pluck one guy up, toss him out the fucking door, bring another guy in, drop him right there. System dependent means you establish a specific system that works for your specific shop. They're all generally the same, but you tweak them. Down to what grit of sandpaper you use for what level of repair. That's important as anything. And yeah. So you get carried away, you lose sight. You either focus on a pinpoint or you're too focused on the big overall. And you rush, you cut corners, you do stupid shit you know better than. I did that. I did that Friday, trying to get an already late project out the door. Or rather, Thursday I did that. That's when I fucked up. So I wound up going in, sanding the car down and repainting it. I didn't have time to do it right the first time, but somehow I found time to go back and do it a second time. I decided to take the kids fishing and everything yesterday and get out of the shop after I delivered the one car lot car. And I waited till bedtime. Got down to the shop, knocked out this other one. I got home about 1:30. I was up till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Up again at 8:30, but I feel good. It was cathartic. I put my headphones in, cranked up the tunes. Clutch's old album, Blast Tyrant, was my soundtrack of Oblivion last night. But let me think. Let me stew over some things. And just physically working, laboring, is very cathartic for me. I can never give that up. So, yep, I found time to do it a second time. It looks smashingly now. What do you do? So we got a plethora of jobs in the shop right now. Of course, the restorations and then some little stuff. I got 2 collisions to take care of. I've got the Monty in paint. I got to get the bits and pieces and sealer wet sanded and painted. Then we can start assembling. I can throw the glass in the Monty this week. I got to find a rear quarter glass passenger side for that thing because I blew up the passenger glass a long time ago. So I got to replace that. I have to replace that. It's on me. 66 Ford, we started some of the teardown. Oh goodness, I got a basket and a jib I'm building. That'll be ready to go out Tuesday morning. I'm going to knock that out tomorrow. Thought about going in today and getting it knocked out, and I'm just going to relax a minute and rest so I can have a plan Monday morning. I'm going to give, because we're light on revolving work, I'm going to give the guys some days off this week because I refuse to show up next Friday for payroll and not have their money. I'm in shorts. First day I got to wear shorts this year. It's kind of nice. So that's where we're at. That's where everything's kind of coasting in the shop and what's going on and what troubles my head. My management style leaves much to be desired. If it were construction, I do smashingly in construction. Alright, cats, I'm out of here. I'm going to go in and get this loaded up. And I'm going to try to get something edited out and thrown up on there from the volumes of video I've got. I got some cool video. I just got to get it out into you guys.